my masters in truth and loyalty. Bang out the buzzword, teaching that blind man to say. You might get the best of him, but sure, never for me. Now, sweet talk to beast, dog tail jack to go and fetch your bang. Try that and up, stay born to a different kind of scene. Went off to college, but college turned out me. Couldn't get my masters in truth and loyalty. I said, whoa, light that fuse and run. I said, whoa, I am my father's son. Light that fuse and run. Whoa, light that fuse and run. Went off to college, but college turned out me. Couldn't get my masters in truth and loyalty. Bang out the buzzword, teaching that blind man to sing. Get the best of him, but you'll never fool me. Now, sweet talk to beast, dog tail jack to go and fetch your bang. Try that.
What's up, Bills Mafia? Welcome to this episode of Sunday Sessions. I'm your host, Scott. We have a fun show today. For those of you who tune in for the first time to Sunday Sessions, this is a show that belongs to the Buff Fan Base Network and sponsored by 26 Shirts. It's the pregame show of the day. We go over last minute actives, inactives. We do our offensive, defensive, keys to the game, X factors, score prediction, and final thoughts, all within that little bit of 30 minutes. I've got a friend here of mine by the name of RT, Ryan Thomas of the Thomas Take Sports Podcast, permanent member of Sunday Sessions. I love having him here. Ryan, what's up? You excited for today?
I'm excited for today. It's always a good Sunday afternoon when the Bills are playing at 1 o'clock. That's my favorite time slot. You know that, Scott. I think we're in mutual agreement. I love primetime games, but Sunday, 1 o'clock just fires me up a little bit different, especially when we predate the game with Sunday Sessions.
Oh, hell yeah. I love those. And obviously next week we go back to 4:30s and we start those night games again, but enjoy it while we can. My day is based on what Sunday looks like, and these 1 o'clock games, I have my certain set of things I do, and it's just so comfortable.
Sure.
We've got a bunch of people hitting up the comments. Guys, I do want to tell you, it is saying Facebook user right now, so obviously Facebook is doing its magic. So if you leave a comment, put your name on the end of it. That way we can at least recognize it. What's up? Get your SpaghettiOs ready. I got my little footballs, little tiny football, meatball SpaghettiOs.
Little footballs.
For those of you who are joining the show for the first time, we got a SpaghettiOs thing working right now. They are 7-1, I believe. Corey Blaine, I apologize. I can't get your video up to show on here. So check out 24/7 Buff Fandemonium's Facebook page to see one of our fans doing the SpaghettiO challenge here. Game day. Let's go Buffalo. Again, Facebook user. Put your name on there, guys. Here we go again, Mafia fam. It's game day with the greatest show on earth. Hell yeah. Thank you for that. Go Bills.
Awesome.
How's everyone on this fine Sunday morning? How's the weather? Sunny and 81 in Orlando and a slight breeze. That must be, I'm guessing Patrick Hughes, right? He's from Florida.
It's gotta be. Yeah, he's down in Orlando.
He's down there in Orlando. So
sunny Orlando.
Nice. Welcome to Sunday Sessions. Cheers. I got my first drink of the day. It is a Jameson orange with Sprite.
Ooh.
It's tasty.
That sounds really. You know what? I recently had that. Yeah, I recently had that. It was very tasty. Very tasty.
Oh yeah, it is. It goes down a little quick though. So this just in, guys, as you know, on Sunday Sessions, we like to hit up the actives and inactives. Have you peeked yet there, RT?
I did. Just the main name. Yeah, I did peek. I did. The only saw one. So you'll be able to fill me in on the others. The only one I was looking for was the one I saw. We'll put it that way.
So right now, it's not right now. It's for this game, inactive list for the Buffalo Bills. Week 10 matchup against the Colts. Keon Coleman, Amari Cooper,
Mm-hmm.
Reggie Gilliam, Adenafuan Ulofoshio, Will Clapp, and KJ Hamler. So what does this mean, RT? Obviously, I'll start you off because you're the man to do this right here. What's your thoughts on this
Well,
inactive list?
it's unfortunate that they're without Keon. I really think that he is only going to get better. Skill set wise, on his own, he's only going to get better. But Josh Allen throwing him the football is going to expedite his growth process in this league. And I talked about him last week. I feel like his skill translates long term in this league. There's a few guys in the present and the past that I can kind of relate to his skill set. Mike Evans, Julio Jones, AJ Green. He's a little bit of little doses of all of those guys, but he's his own guy in his own right. And then they bring in Amari Cooper to, kind of pair with him as they needed another threat, and he's out too. So it's unfortunate, but Sean McDermott likes to play chess with his inactives. I think with the schedule, the way that it's shaping out, with the Bills' record at 7-2, heading to Indianapolis. Indianapolis is not a juggernaut of a team in the slightest. Not saying they're a bad team, but they keep Keon Coleman and Amari Cooper out so that they can be healthier for the biggest game of the year, the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs next week. So it's smart. I think it's smart. I think the Bills have other weapons that they can get the football to. Josh Allen will do Josh Allen things. He always finds a way to put points on the board, whether it's on his own terms or getting the football, spreading it to Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox. He's still got a great, arsenal at his disposal here. And I'm excited to just see how the Bills attack in this one offensively, as usual.
I agree. I think we'll go to our keys to the game, obviously, but I believe that with who the Bills have brought in, right now it looks like our starters are Shakir, Hollins, Samuel, Virgil, Shavers, and Hamler. Actually, Hamler's on that list. So it looks like they're just bringing in 5, which is what they normally do. I think, obviously it's nerve-wracking to see those guys on there, but we do have guys that can fill the position. And I think the biggest position, I think that is the biggest importance of this game is the interior of our passing game. So Shakir is still there, and our tight end University, Knox, and Kincaid are still there. So I believe Joe Brady can still run his offense passing-wise. Obviously, our run game, our dual-headed monster in Davis and Cook will do their thing. But I think the outside edge guys, they bring size, they bring a little bit of speed. I think they still can call the same plays. The corners are still going to have to cover them like they would anybody else. So just play your game and then go from there. Swank's leaving some messages here. I saw one because it says Facebook user. It says, "Look hot, boys. First time, long time." Swank with a money sign. Cash dollar, y'all.
Cash dollar, cash Swank, money Swank.
Money. Facebook user, tight ends and running games. Yep, running back game. Hell yeah. We had someone on our feed, RT, say that they're going to play Ray Davis. Do you think that's a safe play in fantasy today?
You know what? I do. You and I talk on the show in front of all these people, which is always a blessing, but we talk outside, which is even more of a blessing, right? And prior to the draft, you guys tuning in as you do to my show Wednesdays at 8, Swank was saying, when's the weekly Ray Davis segment gonna end? And this was before the Bills drafted him. I'm a huge and proponent of Ray Davis and what he brings to the table. I'm really excited to see him just grow each and every week. I feel like him and James Cook are a great tandem. So yeah, I like it. It's a different type of play at this point in the season because of the bye weeks that are kind of taking place here as we're rolling into the midway point, more than the midway point of the season. So if you got somebody like him that is getting the ball, getting points, why not throw it out there and see what happens? It's a dart throw, but it's one that I think is a fun one.
Oh, for sure. I am trying to find the Colts inactives only because there was a name on the list. I don't think I've seen his name on the list earlier this week, but Michael Pittman, was he someone that was on that list earlier this week?
Yes, he was. Yeah, okay. He was. They listed him out at practice. This is his first game missed of the season as I'm reading it here, and this is just his 5th game missed in 5 seasons. So a
Holy
durable
cow.
player, durable wideout. Not like a T. Higgins in Cincy, who seems like he's out every single week, but
Right.
might be for other reasons, not on the field. So I'm looking at it now. Colts inactives, defensive end Gennard Avery, quarterback Sam Ehlinger, D tackle Adam Gotsis, former Dolphin, I believe, wide receiver Anthony Gold, safety Darren Hall, and then Michael Pittman. It's a back injury, so definitely something to take note of heading into this one. He's their number 1 receiving threat, and he's definitely somebody that should be accounted for, but he won't be out there today.
Now, I think that's a nice little leeway into what we like to talk about on Sunday sessions. We talked about the actives and inactives. We like to also discuss, because of those moves that have been made, what the offensive keys to the game and defensive keys to the game. So we'll start off right with the offense. Obviously, we know we have 3 wide receivers, Hamler, Cooper, and Keon Coleman, not going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
So, RT, I ask you, what do you think is the offensive key to success? How are we going to put points on the board? And what do we got to do to win this game and go 8-2? 8-2, man. Doesn't that sound sexy?
That sounds great. Sounds great. And I think the nitpickers will say could be 9-1 with that win against Houston. But you know what? I'll take the 8-2. And the Houston Texans just lost to the New York Jets last week. So that was pretty awesome to see. But as far as their offensive strategy, the guys that are out there, they're all yards after catch guys. But there's no wide receiver or pass catcher, I should say, on this team that is as quote unquote slippery as he was talked about last week by Kevin Harlan as Khalil Shakir. I think he's a huge threat in this game. Somebody that Josh Allen has to maybe over rely on a little bit here without Amari Cooper and Keon Coleman. But if anybody has proven that they can shoulder the load, it's Khalil Shakir, as Keon was kind of getting up to speed prior to them getting Amari Cooper. Khalil Shakir was the guy. And when he was out against, I believe it was against Baltimore, it was a huge loss to this offense. So regardless, the names that are out, it's unfortunate, but you have other names to get the ball to, and they're all yards after catch guys. Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid, he's known to break through the second level of the defense a time or two. So I think that's huge. I think Joe Brady has to call some plays that keep things really simple, but also allow other guys to not only get open, but break through that second level of the defense. And Khalil Shakir is a big addition to what that, yards after catch and what that brings to the table. So keying in on him for Josh Allen is really important for this one.
I'm going to piggyback off that, RT. I believe that you can't just rely on those guys that have been there all year. You do have to show Josh Allen. You do have to show that the Shavers and the other guys out there that are coming in, that you're going to throw them a ball. Maybe even Joe Brady create some plays where that the strengths of these new receivers are in. Obviously, you want to play to the strength to get a couple beats on these defensive backs. Get a couple beats, show them that you are going to have to defend them, and then that's when you can utilize to the highest extent our Kincaids and our Shakirs and even our running game. I'm going on offensive key as Joe Brady calling an offense like he would the previous weeks. Obviously, we don't have the talent there at wide receiver with Keon and Cooper, but we've only had Cooper one game. So right now, basically, all we're missing is Keon Coleman. So play the game plan like you normally would. Don't make major adjustments because you want this defense of the Colts to come. Dryer's done.
Dryer's done. Can you hear that? Hey, I got, like you said, Sunday routine, man. Sunday routine.
Oh yeah. But yeah, Joe Brady, just come and do your thing. We've made the statement before, and we go back and forth on what this means. Take what the defense is giving you. You take what you've learned. You take the tendencies. You take what works for you and make them defend you. So I think that's the best option for Joe Brady, but everybody eats. I think we're going to see a little bit in my score prediction I'll show. I think we score many different ways this week. Really think we do. We got a lot of fans out there in the Facebook here. Thanks for your comments, guys. All the running backs should eat today. John Johns. What's up, John Johns? Run to Rudolph. It's getting that time of year, right?
Yeah.
Swank says starts up front with the best O-line in the league. I agree. And we talked with Swank about it on the show. Stay away from tendencies. I know you're missing a bunch of people, but don't throw 5 screens in 10 plays. Don't do second down runs, RPO stuff that it loses yards. Stay creative. Stay creative there. Can't give up the dumb penalties. There's been a lot of them this year, not just for the Bills. Corey Blaine, some of that is them zebras. Yep. Let's see what else. Almost 100% is the blind refs. True. They're going off the referee comment. And then go Bills. Hi, Scott and RT. Again, guys, we're seeing Facebook users, so go ahead and put your name on there just so we can respond. We know who we're talking to. The first for another win is what's up.
The thirst.
My thirst for another one. Yep. That's what it's all about. 8-2. And our friend of the show, supporter of the show, Mark Maddox always says, if Marv Levy always told him, you go 3-1, win 75% of your quarters, you'll be all set and you make the playoffs. And right now, if we win, we're 8-2. Do the math.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, to your point, there's been games where when Buffalo's kept things simple, they've been very successful. The moments where Buffalo tries to do a little bit too much and tries to maybe over-guess the game rather than kind of letting the game, come to them or even attacking the game, that's when mistakes can get made. Like to your point last week, there was that RPO kind of where Josh Allen drops back. He sees Keon. He did have a beat on Jalen Ramsey.
That was all Keon.
Allen, gets him the ball right on time and bounces off his shoulder because Keon's not turned at the, 1/2 a second, bounces off his shoulder, and it goes right into Jalen Ramsey's hands. So I think there's a little bit of communication stuff that I really hope with kind of a, new wide receiver core for this game, at least with Cooper and Keon out, more so Coleman, as you mentioned. It's that communication stuff is going to have to be spot on. And really, to me, that's the only way. If it's not spot on, that's the only way the Colts offense is going to be able to get, back out on the field and make it a tough game for us. If Buffalo's offense can communicate, can keep things simple, I think this should be a pretty solid winning effort by the Bills.
I agree. And you said something about the Colts offense, which we're going to tap into right now, guys. Defensive success. I'll start right off for this game. It's got to be a guy that's killed us all the time, and that's Jonathan Taylor. I mean, the last time we played him a bunch of years back, if you had him on fantasy, you probably won that week. I think he had 35 touches, over 200 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Just destroyed it. And that tempo was set right off the bat. If you remember watching that game, it was set right off the bat. The Colts knew they were going to come in and run. We do have a Bills defense right now that is vulnerable sometimes to the big run plays, but then you see us get tackles for losses and a lot of great linebacker plays. So it's inconsistent, I say at times, but this is a game where, again, if the Colts come in thinking they've got a good line, if they come in thinking, let's pound the ball, slow the Bills offense down, take up some clock, they do have the weapons to do it. So defensively for me, it's create the run blitzes that make them miserable and make them kind of force the pass ball. And Joe Flacco, a guy that's going to be sitting in the pocket. Is that confirmed? Is Flacco starting today? Do you know?
I'm pretty certain he is. Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen it confirmed yet, but I'd say it's about a 80% lock that he's going to be out there. And they said that as soon as they benched Anthony Richardson and announced it, the locker room went off the rails. I mean, in terms of dividing the locker room, some guys thinking Anthony Richardson should be out there, and some guys thinking Anthony Richardson shouldn't have taken himself out of that game, or else a veteran wouldn't have his job. So I see both sides of it. And that's a situation that dictates your entire rest of the season from here on out. It could either go really, really well, or it could go poorly, and could be kind of a Rubik's Cube of a season from here on out from the Colts.
And for teams playing them, those are two completely different quarterbacks, which I always find interesting when they do that to teams. You bring in a quarterback that you want to start, and then your backup is someone that runs the offense totally different. I always thought that was interesting that teams do that. So if you're game planning against a Flacco, a guy that likes to sit in the pocket, is a tall guy, has a good arm, can't make the reads, versus a Richardson who likes to scramble, run the ball, that's a big thing. So hopefully Flacco's coming in. But like the fans are saying out there, Facebook user says, get to Flacco early. Flacco was named starter earlier this week. Thank you, Facebook user. Interesting stuff. I told you mine there, RT. What's your key to defensive success? Again,
Well, I'm
8-2
gonna
is what we're aiming for.
yeah, and aiming 8-2 is all we're aiming for, but I'm kind of gonna go back to a thought that I had, just in terms of that game a few years back when the Bills let Jonathan Taylor just run wild. A lot of that had to do with the fact that Buffalo, despite how great Terrell Bernard has played, despite how great Dorian Williams has played, in the wake of Matt Milano's offseason injury, the front four is or was a little light in terms of run stuffing and trying to bring down a running back, which I think is why they had a lot of problems, not just stopping Derrick Henry, but the guy that was paving the way for Derrick Henry on the majority of those runs, the fullback there, Patrick Ricard or Richard or however you pronounce it in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when I was a kid, going way back, they had Pat Williams and Ted Washington. They were two monster defensive tackles. And earlier this week, as luck would have it, they're able to bring back Jordan Phillips and Quentin Jefferson, who are bigger run stuffing type defensive tackles that I think they really needed. And they had something really great with Smoot, veteran kind of defensive end D lineman. And they had something even greater with a rookie, Dwayne Carter. Both those guys are hurt. Both those guys are out for the foreseeable future. Carter more so Smoot, I think, at this point. But to have that kind of fall apart, but then to have a fallback plan of two guys that have been in this defense before, know what it takes to stop the run in this league. I think that was really lucky, really huge,
Mm-hmm.
for the Bills to be able to bring those two guys in. I was, my worries were kind of thwarted in a span of 2 days this past week. So I'm really excited to see what those guys bring to the table, and see how this defense, which I think is a little bit faster than it's been in years past, whether it's the D line or the linebackers or even the secondary, they're a lot quicker than what they were these last few years as, Trey White and Poyer and Hyde kind of aged out. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see how different this defense looks than it did a few years back when Jonathan Taylor, really did run wild. And, obviously they've had some issues here this season on and off. It's, as you said, inconsistent, but I think those two additions are going to be really big today for the Buffalo Bills.
And again, you bring that up without saying it. Inactives, Quentin Jefferson and Jordan Phillips are right now both playing today.
Yeah.
And that says a lot. They've been in the system before, so it says a lot about the McDermott system, and they feel confident enough to bring them in and probably get a handful of reps. We got a Facebook user asking a great question. Is Von Miller going to make an impact today, do you think?
Impact is tough. Is it impact on the stat sheet in terms of sacks? I don't think Von is that guy anymore. I don't think he's the guy that he was in Denver that would average 2 sacks a game or, two sacks and a forced fumble but I will say that every team that they've played with Von on the field, the quarterback has to know where Von Miller is, which takes the attention off of knowing where guys like Greg Rousseau, AJ Epinesa, and Ed Oliver are. There's a lot to worry about with this front four when Von Miller is out there. And I think that's a good thing to have him, out there playing in those, third and down, closer moments. Those are the moments where he's really able to show, I'm off the field for a couple plays. It's third down. They're going to pass. I'm just going right after the quarterback. He's not paid as if he's a third down specialist, but he did restructure his contract. So that helped Buffalo in other places. So to me, is he going to make an impact? Yes. I just don't think it's the impact that he used to make in Denver. He's a much older player. He's had, devastating injuries over his career these last couple of years here, but it is what it is. I'm happy that he's out there. He's healthy. He's coming off of the suspension. I think this is the last dance, for Von, at the very least in Buffalo, maybe in his career. So he's got to really show something here to bookend his career on a positive note. And what better team to do it on than this one? This is one of the top teams in the NFL.
And this defensive line, I think everybody's been eating a little bit. It has been consistent, like sack after sack after sack for this guy, this guy, this guy. They've been sharing it, and every week it seems like it's a different guy that's performing. Obviously kicking ass. Epinessa's name gets called every once in a while, and obviously Ed Oliver is doing his thing. So, I'm Von Miller. I do believe he is a presence. You got to respect him.
Sure.
That alone might be enough. But is he going to hit double-digit sacks this year? I'd be hard-pressed to say he will. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen. Let's go to X factors here, bud. We talked about offensive and defensive keys. Obviously, the keys are keys to the game, but what's the X factor? What's the one thing, Bills Mafia, RT, that you believe is going to be the biggest difference maker in today's matchup?
Well, honestly, you kind of touched on it. The difference in quarterbacks from Anthony Richardson to Joe Flacco. Very, very different, two very, very different players. The one thing that worries me about this matchup, to be quite honest with you, if anything, is Joe Flacco can still throw the ball and still throw it very, very well. Dating back to last year in Cleveland, he had this rebirth, this resurgence, and he was the hottest commodity veteran quarterback in free agency. He got paid for what is considered to be a backup quarterback in this league. He got a high contract for a backup guy. I believe that if I were to go on any site that has contracts, I think Joe Flacco might be making more money this year than Anthony Richardson. So that just goes to show you just the difference in demand of a veteran quarterback. And my point on this is that the one thing Joe Flacco does really well is throwing the deep ball. Yep. So no Michael Pittman. Josh Downs is a guy that I really like. They also have Adonai Mitchell, who was linked to Buffalo in the draft process. They got some guys that can really stretch the field in terms of speed. So Buffalo's secondary, which has been phenomenal this season. But I think that this is a matchup where Joe Flacco's veteran expertise could be used against Buffalo a little bit with a little bit of a greener secondary, especially in the back end at safety. So these safeties, whether it's Bishop, whether it's Hamlin, whoever it may be back there, because McDermott likes to rotate, they got to be on their P's and Q's against a veteran quarterback that loves to throw the deep ball and definitely can. So to me, the X factor in this one, that Bills secondary. They've shown up. They've shown out all year long. I think they can do it again, but it's definitely an interesting matchup. More interesting in that regard in terms of a quarterback that can throw the deep ball more so than Anthony Richardson. Joe Flacco makes that a interesting facet of this game.
For sure. We got X factors being sacks. That definitely could be an X factor. Indianapolis Colts does bring the pressure. They do have some guys that can get to the quarterback, so that's definitely for both ends of the ball. My X factor is going to be Cook and Davis, a 1-2 punch all day. Great question. Mac is one of the best players we have. So that must have been a question about Mac that I've got a funny one here, and I think I know who asked it. And it's regarding, I think this past post was based off of this question. Hey guys, and I'm putting it on there just because I love saying this. Are we starting to believe in Hollins? Thanks for taking my question. How we felt or snatch? What do you think? Hollins has proven that he's kind of like the Jesus. Who did they call wide receiver Jesus a couple of years ago? Who was it? Long hair, caught a couple touchdown passes.
For the Bills?
Yes.
Jake Kumaro?
Kumaro, yes.
Yeah, yep.
Is he another Kumaro? The guy shows up when he has to. He's obviously going to play a bigger role today. I have him playing in my fantasy. I also have Alec Pierce playing in my fantasy because he can burn you too. Are we starting to believe in Hollins? Are we starting to believe in him? What do you think?
The one comment was about Von Miller's impact, and impact, like I said, it's kind of selective to the role that a player is playing within and what he demands in terms of what he demands. And to me, Mac Hollins is one of those guys that he just fits a specific role as like a wide receiver for that when the Bills stretch the field and they have all these, I think the Bills depth-wise, the worst talking point of the offseason for me was that the Bills don't have enough weapons. I actually think the opposite. I think that they have a lot of weapons on this team. And when they spread them all out, Mac Hollins is this guy that is just unaccounted for among all the other options that have to be accounted for. And that's when you can really expose some mismatches. When you have a linebacker covering Matt Collins or a safety covering Matt Collins rather than a corner, Josh Allen's going to pick that apart. He's been in this league way too long to not take advantage of that. So especially in a game without Cooper and especially in a game without Coleman, I could easily see a touchdown from Matt Collins today.
Oh, and let's not forget, I mean, a lot of people saw Matt Collins come in this year and like, oh, no, we're getting nobodies. But no matter where this guy's gone, he's always been on the starting roster. He's never been someone that was on a practice squad and inactive. He's always been there, mostly because of his run blocking, because he's a great run blocker. But when he takes the most out of his opportunities, and it's something that I love seeing.
He's regarded he's regarded very highly in terms of everywhere he's played too. I mean, everybody that has thrown him a pass says that the guy can play, so it's, people can discount it all they want, but he's produced here. And I think he's produced more than even I thought, or even more than you thought. But at the same time, he's a serviceable wideout in this league. Is he a wide receiver 1? Of course not. Is he a 2? No. Is he a 3? No. But is he a damn good 4? I think so. And that matters in this league, especially given that it's a passing league. It really is. So I'm excited for him. He's a good locker room guy. Everybody seems to like him. He brought a different juice, a different wacky energy that I think was kind of needed post the Stephon Diggs stuff. And, it's good stuff. I'm happy for him.
I'm laughing a little bit because whoever did that Howie Felter snatch is throwing out a bunch of funny names here. My X Factor, player hydration. Thanks IP Freely. X Factor is the kicking tee, Oliver Klosshoff. I like this one. Are we afraid of these guys coming off cold off the bench? See more butts.
See more butts. It's always a good one.
You guys are nuts. Is that Josh Cook? I wonder if that's Josh Cook. Oh, wait a minute.
Here we go, folks. We're in overtime.
We are in overtime. We're a little bit over, but so we'll wrap it up here. We got score predictions. Throw your comments out there, guys. You guys are doing good. Again, this network. Tons of shows. The Thomas Take Sports podcast is part of that. So hit them up, like, share, tag, and then obviously if we go live, we love that you guys share us and spread the word, and it helps us grow. So keep it up. And we're presented by and sponsored by 26 Shirts. There we go. We got some score predictions there. There are
score predictions.
Fire
I'll fire away. I think that this is going to be a good, solid win for the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to go over 30 again. I think this offense, despite the two guys being out, Josh Allen, Ray Davis, James Cook, Khalil Shakir, all have a day in this one. Mix in a little Dalton Kincaid, maybe some crucial catches from Dawson Knox, as he's known to do. I'm going to go 30-20. Not a blowout, but a good win, solid win. I think Joe Flacco is going to come ready to play, as he always does when given the opportunity. So I'm going to go 30-20. Dare I say it, I think Joe Flacco might be one of the best quarterbacks that the Bills have played this season. So I think that it's going to be a close game, an interesting game, one showing the Colts fans, hey, maybe they should roll with Flacco the rest of the year, as a kind of a back burner Colts take. But Bills win 8-2. Bring on Kansas City. Come on, bring it on.
Come on now. And you mentioned I liked Anthony Richardson coming out of the draft. I didn't see anything about him being lazy or anything like that, but I know we're getting sidetracked here. Is this the beginning of the end of his career at Indy?
I think so, because I can't remember a time a quarterback that's picked that high in the first round gets benched that soon in his career and is able to come back from it. Not many have, and there's been a lot. There's been a lot that have never been able to come back from it with that team that benches them. Now, Baker Mayfield, rebirth. Sam Darnold, rebirth.
That class is looking a lot better now, isn't it?
Jameis Winston, rebirth a little bit here in backup duty. I think he's better than Deshaun Watson, already, but that's another discussion. But, I think it could be the beginning of the end for Anthony Richardson in Indy, and it's not to say a team won't take a chance on him the first chance they can take. So could be it in Indy, though.
Right. I got a 24-13 by Adam Barasco. Thanks, Adam, for that score prediction. Gotta laugh at this. We got the names keep coming in. From Under Cheese says the team is fired up. They'll go 50-0. Let's see. Grind out physical game with a dominant 31-10. Swank, Howie, Seymour, and IP.
And I gotta mention,
Amanda Huggins.
Amanda Huggins. I gotta mention the week that Swank isn't on. I hope he's feeling better. I know last week he had a touch of the sickness that's going around, but he's down with the sickness, pun intended. But honestly, it's kind of fitting that it's you and I on this show today after the barn burner trade that was made in the K-Gun Report that sent shock waves throughout the entire K-Gun Report Fantasy League. So hopefully the trade works for the both of us. I hope to see you in the playoffs, man, and hope I'm there too. I get crazy. I'm
on the outside looking in right now. That's why, and the trade was fair. I mean, no matter how you look at it, we both made out on this, but
we could have good.
I'm kind of hoping it's a successful one for this year, but planning for next year, if you know what I'm saying.
Good stuff, man.
This is Sparta. Welcome, Buffalo Spartan. I'm going 35-17. I'm not going far off from my K-Gun Report prediction. I do believe Joe Brady comes in, plays the offense he wants to play. I think we force our will on this Colts defense. And I don't think without Pittman, obviously, I don't think the Colts have the firepower to hang with our Buffalo Bills offense, especially we're in a dome, weather controlled, and we're on turf. Yeah. We're fast. Love it. 35-17. Let's see any more scores coming in that don't have. Let's see here. 28-10, Corey from Hugh Oliver. Not sure what that means, but there it is. Swank down with the sickness. Love you, Swank.
Wow.
All right, let's I won't be remiss without doing this. Corey,
smack that can of
like I said, Corey, I can't get your video up, but we will do a SpaghettiOs. I don't chug. I take the big old spoon. Look at the size of this guy. And I take the meatballs right off the top. Cheers. Mm-hmm. To the Buffalo Bills and the SpaghettiOs.
Well, hey, man, go Bills. Great show. Hopefully everybody that was tuning in enjoyed it as much as we did. And let's get to 8-2, guys. On to Kansas City next week. Hosting Kansas City next week. And I'm ready for that. That's the game of the year. That's the way to do it every single year. Playing KC as tough as we do, regular and postseason, playoffs, whatever you want to call it. I don't care what anyone says. I think no team matches up better with the Kansas City Chiefs than the Buffalo Bills.
So, RT, tell us where we can find you with that final thought.
Yep.
So we can listen to you and tune in every week.
Yeah, Wednesday at 8. Wednesday at 8, I'm going to be live Wednesday at 8, recapping this game, providing an in-depth preview of this upcoming week. As I mentioned, the game of the year, Bills-Chiefs. Hopefully Buffalo is at a point where they're 8-2, and hopefully these Denver Broncos and scrappy Bo Nix can make a game out of this one between the Broncos and the Chiefs this week. So a lot to take in from those two games, our game as well as the Chiefs game this week as we look forward to next week's game. But definitely got to take the Colts seriously today, and with a big win, hopefully I'm recapping that Wednesday at 8. Buffalo Fanbase Network at Ryan Thomas Take on all social media. Thomas Take Sports Podcast.
Booyah. Booyah, I love it. And I wasn't going to say anything, but our boy Swank just threw this out there. Thanks, guys. Love you too. Win one for my boy Comet. Comet was his doggy. The reason Swank's not joining us today is because he did have to put him down yesterday. It's his second dog in a year. So for you dog lovers, it hits hard. It does. Good boy.
I'm sorry, Swank. Sorry. My heart goes out to you, buddy.
Yeah, I had the pleasures of being able to pet Comet and love on him, and he's a very lovable dog, and he's with his brother now, Swank. So they did recently get a little husky, so that's fun. Oh, nice. They got their hands full.
Hey, you know what? Up on that Rainbow Bridge, man, cats and dogs cross. My guy George is up there. Maybe they're running around, looking out a window somewhere, and seeing the big bridge. You know what I mean?
My dog's up there, Emma. She was very low key, so she's probably just watching all the dogs running around going, that's how she was. Final thought. Yep. 1:00 game. Enjoy it, guys. We got a couple primetime games. We obviously have the Kansas City Chiefs next week, one game at a time, but we know we're all looking forward to that. If the Chiefs win or lose one more game and the Bills handle business, we would obviously have the same record with the tiebreaker, but we got to win this one. So let's start with Indy. Enjoy your football game. Thank you for joining us on Sunday Sessions. Like RT says, hit them up in the middle of the week this week, and then obviously the K-Gun Report. We go live every Tuesday. We discuss this game and talk about the next 8:00 Tuesday sharp. Thank you all for joining us for sure. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Swank does.
Upstate board's a different kind of scene. Went off to college, but college done up me. Couldn't get my master's in truth and loyalty. I said, whoa, like that music run. I say, whoa, I am my father.